Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. This is episode 5. My name is Jared, and my co-host Denzel and I this week will be discussing a little bit of Alec Bradley cigars and what happened to Alec Bradley's popularity. Is Alec Bradley's popularity starting to dip? Not sure. Keep an eye on that. Also, we're going to discuss a little bit of what's going on in social media, the banning of the Milk Crate Challenge, and also the banning of sexual content on OnlyFans, and then it coming back. Aunt Jemima got canceled, so we'll discuss a little bit of cancel culture. And on top of that, then we're going to dive into a little bit of luxury car talk. BMW fans, don't be mad at us. Anyway, I'm not going to hold you. We're going to go ahead and get into the episode. Thank you for tuning in. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. My name is Jared. I'm not Denzel. My name is Jared. I got my brother with me, Denzel. And we're going to be into another episode today of some cigar talk and a little bit of everything else in the mix also. Starting off with the most important thing of the day. I'm going to be smoking on an H. Upman Grupo de Maestros. Grupo de Maestros.
Pronounce it again, huh?
Yeah.
Say that one more time for the folk that don't understand.
Hey, I love it. My cigar got to be something I don't know what it say, you know. So that's all right. Grupo de Maestros, 1844.
Say what again?
I said 1844 is the year on this. Connecticut.
Okay. Aged
tobacco.
well aged. All right, and following up from what we talked about last week, got the Magic Toast, Alec Bradley. So we're gonna give this one a ride and see what it does.
All right.
I know I've been looking for this one for a while. We posted about it. It was something I was intrigued by, and finally ran across it. It's like, all right, let's see if it lives up to the hype. Let's see if Alec Bradley can make it back on, that top list where it was at. So when we first discovered it, it had some cigars with some really high ratings, and but it kind of fell off the wagon for me. I haven't really picked them up, and this was one of those ones that kind of caught my eye and said, all right, let's give Alec Bradley a try, see if it can make its way to my, top 5, top 3 range.
Right.
All right, so going back with a straight cut. Last week Jerry went with the punch. Let's see what he's gonna do today. What we doing today? How we topping our cigar?
This is the interesting thing for me. I have this particular H. Upman comes with a brown cap on it. Okay. I don't know what the purpose is for a different cap on this tobacco. Yeah, but it's capped differently. We're gonna see if it has any effect or if it's just all for looks. But I'm going with a V cut on this.
V cut today. All right.
V cut today.
So are you in that strange mode of trying to figure out what your cut is in this particular moment? Like, are we doing like a cut journey? Because the week before we had a straight cut punch. Now we're doing a V cut.
You know what? I didn't even realize it. It seems like I'm on a little bit of a journey, but I think, if I must be honest, it's just me and whatever cutter I find first.
First grab is what you're going with.
Yeah. So, with that being said, though, I'm just moving. I'm just moving whatever I find first, man. It ain't nothing special, but I tend to like either a punch or a V cut anyway. Once I got on, kind of put on those, I tend to go to that more often than not. But nothing wrong with a straight cut. Straight cut is legendary.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Who knows? I might find my way back to a V cut. I was on V cuts very heavy. I was on punch heavy. Like I just had those times where, it was my go-tos. I had certain go-tos at certain times. Right now, like I said before, straight cut, classic, can't go wrong. All right, so what we're pairing our cigars with today?
I'm just toasting with nothing special. Nothing special. Just doing normal cigar lighter and whatnot. So.
I said, what we're pairing it with? What we drinking?
What we drinking, pairing with. I thought you said, okay, nah, man. Come on, man. Let's just have a good time today, man. We're not trying to do all that, man. Let's not discuss that in conversation, man. We trying to have fun today, man. That's me what I'm pairing with. I'm pairing with something that will allow me to continue my day after I finish doing this, just to say I had something with it. But I'm not pairing with nothing. I'm trying to put on record here, man. I'm trying to have a good time today, man. Come on.
Okay. Quiet as kept. Like, what's
Yeah,
this
trying to
about?
embarrass me on the show, man. What are we doing?
Hey, man, just trying to see where we're at. Got the red cup.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
A good start. So I'm on the flags today. Went ahead and picked me up one of these flags and been wanting to get on this flashlight for a little bit now. I think that might be my new way of going forward for a little bit. And decided to go with something a little interesting, something I haven't tried before, something I've been interested in trying but haven't tried. So I'm taking a little bit of what you did last week with the cold brew. So I said, cold brew sounds like a good idea. But then it's the weekend. I want to take the edge off. So I paired my cold brew with some Jameson. Right? I believe they call it what a Irish whiskey or something like that. Or Irish. Yeah. So cheers to that.
How's it working?
Hey, blends pretty good to me. I like it. Now, so nothing special with the cold brew. It's just an espresso bean, I guess, and no sweet, nothing, no flavor, no vanilla, no hazelnut, just black espresso bean with the Jameson topped on top of it. That's it.
Okay. Okay, initial thoughts. I know we hadn't got too far into these cigars here, but I'm just gonna give you my initial thought because it hit me right away.
Okay.
Very soft, very mild initially. A leatheriness, a little bit of a cocoa-ness to it also. But this is very, very, very smooth and mild right off hand. I don't know if it's gonna stay like this, but right off the bat, this is kind of surprised me how mild it was, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So you expect a little bit more peppers in the beginning, like more peppery taste in the beginning. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know how this magic toast is going. Same for me. Like I'm getting a lot of cocoa taste right up top as well. So it's interesting you mentioned that. Nothing that really stands out or just punches you right off the palate. Just something real smooth and mild so far. Like you said, we just get them sparked up, take the ride and see what happens.
Right. Now you touched on having an Alec Bradley, and you said you've been interested in this for a while. Now you said something interesting. You said you wonder, is this cigar gonna can it take it back to where Alec was years ago as far as a name? It's interesting you say that because I went to get an Alec Bradley because I knew you were smoking one this week. So I was going to smoke Alec Bradley with you also. My particular cigar bar that I go to get, cigars from the humidor didn't have an Alec Bradley section no more.
Oh, Alec Bradley.
Said it doesn't sell well. So they don't have it. And I was kind of shocked to hear that because I was still holding them in that regard of like one of the bigger brands. Are they not no more? Have you noticed a short on Alec Bradley when you go to shops?
You know what? I kind of would say that. Because when I went to go pick up my cigars last weekend, I don't remember a large selection of Alec Bradley, which is probably why the Magic Toast stood out. I actually caught it on the way out. You go in, look around as you're browsing, kind of got an idea what you want. And then you're trying to look around to see what you might like as well, like what else sticks out to you. And as I go through my, shopping experience as I'm browsing, I don't really remember seeing too many Alec Bradleys. And then as I was leaving, I already had my selections. I saw the Magic Toast on the way out of the humidor, and it kind of grabbed me. Now that you mention it, I don't really remember seeing any Alec Bradleys throughout the humidor at all. That might have been the only selection.
My shop said that they haven't had it in a few months, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, it has been a while since I remember noticing it there because I knew they had Alec Bradley previously, but it's like, how did you bring it up? I hadn't noticed it in a while, but that lets you know how long it's been since I cared to even look at it. Like,
Yeah. That's the thing. Like it wasn't on my mind and on my radar. I'm saying in recent months, recent years.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when we first began the cigar journey with smoking these cigars. It was one of those names that I always heard or always seen. One of
Right.
those ones that stuck out in the ratings and everything. I don't know how they've been rating over the last couple of years. Haven't really been looking at the ratings over the last few years, but I really remember when we were studying cigars and trying to figure out who was who and what was what. Alec Bradley was always one of those names that was always at the top of the list that always stood out.
Right. How does a brand fall off like that in the cigar world, man? Because think about it. A lot of times, the same cigars are being put out. So whatever you become great for, you never really get rid of creating that particular line. That line lives on. You might add some new things to your catalog of cigars that you sell, but you don't get rid of your winners. So
Yeah,
how
yeah,
do
yeah.
they fall off? Like
It's like that you know what I'm saying, the flagship of your brand. You keep making the flagship of your brand because that's your constant seller. That's what people that's what your core audience or your core fan base is always clamoring for. So you never stray away from that. So I wonder, like,
did they stray at some point?
did you stray from what you do well? So that's something to I guess to consider and to look into.
Yeah, or did the production of the cigars fall off? I mean, are they not being made with the same quality they were previously? Are you different tobacco leaves? You know what I'm saying? Or did you find
Or maybe they try to step into a class where they weren't necessarily ready for, you know, and then you step up into a line of certain class, and you just get shunned out
so
because you
break
didn't
that
live up to an
down.
expectation.
Break that down a little bit because they were appeared from my point of view, and it was maybe because we were early in the game. From my point of view, they were in those classes, maybe just a notch below, but they were in that class though.
So when I say this, I will bring up Cohiba, right?
Right.
Cohiba's a name, in my opinion, that you take the most novice cigar smoker or someone who doesn't smoke cigars at all. You
And
say Cohiba, they know what Cohiba is. You don't have to explain it's a cigar brand.
Right.
And from what we experienced and what we learned early on, it was one of those names that was around Cohiba. It was, synonymous with cigars. So it's like where do we go from there? So I mean, were they in that Cohiba class of that standard brand cigar?
I wouldn't put them in the Cohiba or the Romeo y Julieta. I wouldn't put them in none of those categories, but because those are synonymous with cigars. You know what I'm saying? But should it have been in the realm of Rocky? At the time, I thought they were in the realm of Rocky Patel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at least that much. At least that much.
Rocky standing strong. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what happened to Alec though.
Where's Alec?
Where's Alec? And there's some other ones who kind of emerged and started making a little bit more of a name for themselves, but I mean, I don't know. That was shocking to hear, man. But when I put it in perspective, it was true.
Well, now that you mention that, brands, names, things that people are that those names are synonymous with, of straying away from what it is that you're doing. Had a conversation brought up about OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have OnlyFans coming out and they're changing the direction of what they're synonymous for.
Right.
How do you think that'll play out? Would you become? You think it's a decision that they're making to make it to the next step, or is it something that's going to make their brand die out because you're straying away from what it is that you do?
I think the answer is in their actions because I don't know I guess you didn't hear about this just based off what you said. OnlyFans is already reneged on that and they are continuing their sexual material. So as quick as they put out that they were canceling it because some of their backers didn't want them going that route, I think their backers figured out we got to go that route. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else are we going to do?
Yeah, the last I heard it, they was like, you know what? Straying away from this, we're banning it. I guess they decided they wanted to go more of a mainstream route. and
Right.
become what all the other social platforms are. And I guess maybe they had that realization, like, hey, I can't give up on my core audience, my core fan base, my core subscriber.
They banned it last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they brought it back this week. Like Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. They brought it back. Wasting no time. Smart decision though.
Smart decision.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, well, what else are you gonna do? I don't know you for nothing but that. Like, so what, you gonna rebrand yourself? Like, and you made your name off that?
Yeah.
It's like Coca-Cola. All right, I'm out the soda game now, and now I'm into making cookies. It's like, well, I don't want Coca-Cola cookies.
Coca-Cola cookie.
I might be intrigued, but I'm not gonna like support it like I drink your soda. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
you got to stick with what you're known for.
At the end of the day, everybody can't totally do the rebrand thing. You can get lucky, and you can have like a Nike who's good at shoes, and then they transition into clothing but it's still connected to the whole athletic world.
Yeah, it's still in the same vein. Like, you're not completely switching industries.
Right. It's a natural transition. But even then, it's still a risk in that natural transition. You just never know if it's gonna take off like you think it's gonna take off. And then when you take being, I don't know how long they've existed, but since it became popular to know about in the last year or so, it's only known for its sexual material, and people making a lot of money from it. I don't know what else you would use it for. Like the platform. I mean, I guess I do know what else you would use it for, but I don't know what else you would be successful for because it's synonymous with this other thing.
Yeah, you have so many other platforms that you can use for other things, and that's what they go to, and they already have their core.
Right.
So you're not really going to steal any clientele, and people are going to say, well, I'm not going to use this that I've already been using. This. Let me use OnlyFans now, especially when you already have a stigma on you anyway.
Right.
How many people, like, especially if you're not in sexual content making world, tell somebody I got OnlyFans. They already got it in their mind. So it's like, all right, well, you really ain't going to win with that.
Yeah. It's platforms like Patreon and places like that people go to if they want to. Yeah, that's on lock. So OnlyFans can't transition into the next Patreon. You're now Pornhub, like, in people's mind for regular people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You got to embrace it. Yeah, you making, it is what it is. You're making a ton of money for it. Like, you get your Facebooks and stuff who have found a way to really almost monopolize their game because they buy the next company that's on the cusp of becoming something big. So you have WhatsApp. They bought that when that was becoming the new instant messenger thing that everybody was really into. And that's smart, but OnlyFans is going to either get purchased by somebody or eventually become big enough to buy their way into another industry. Yeah, but it's one or the other.
That's the only way that they're going to be able to capitalize on another type of venture. Other than that, you got to stick with what you're known for. I really can't see it surviving off of anything else.
Right.
Unless, like you said, it buys something else or gets bought by something else, by another entity.
Right.
But speaking of rebranding, so something that's been it kind of grind my gears a little bit in the grocery store while I was doing my grocery shopping, and finally noticing that they took my auntie off the pancake box.
Yeah. She's officially off.
Officially off, man.
I've been hearing you talk about that.
Oh no, she's officially off. Forgot what it is, some Mills company or something like that. That's what they have it on. Like it's almost it's the same colors, everything looks the same, but just Aunt Jemima, she's off the pancake insert box. It kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. And that whole rebranding. Like, do you think that the whole movements of everything kind of caused an overreaction, and even causing a company like that to rebrand itself just because of a certain stigma, or feeling like they got to cater to somebody else or cater to somebody's feelings and stray away from what their company is synonymous for, or what's so recognizable about their company.
Yeah. That whole thing started in 2020, right? The whole talk about it. Yeah, it was a lot going on in 2020, and I think the fear is what it is. and just the fear of it. Yeah, because we're in a cancel culture now. So a few people started complaining about it, and next thing you know, it's a real thing. But does it make that big of a difference? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, who's it? It didn't affect me, and I'm saying this as a black male. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't offended by it. I didn't personally see the issue with it. But I think that's fear, man. That's fear. That's the world we in. That's what's gonna cause it, man. People are gonna start dropping stuff. I think that's why OnlyFans tried to cancel. They were afraid they were losing their backing, and then the backing was like, you know what? Never mind, cancel that. And then they went back to it.
Like the Washington football team got rid of their whole logo, mascot, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cleveland, they were the Cleveland Indians, if you can still say that. And now I forgot what they call themselves. So yeah, you have this whole shift of, losing your identity or trying to rebrand your identity based on, like you said, that cancel culture, everybody being so afraid. So Uncle Ben, where's Uncle Ben? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what it's one thing if something is really truly offending the masses, but it's another thing just to complain about everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at a point, man, it's us the people. We gotta be like, pick our battles. You know what I'm saying? And what's real. I don't know. We're not picking our battles. Everything's a battle. Every time I see something in social media, it's a fight. And it's like, well, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
what are we really fighting about? Like, what are we really fighting for? Like,
because they're battles to have, but not that. Like, they're battles to have. You know what I'm saying? There's legitimate battles to have. Like, but Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, like,
yeah, starting to become nitpicky and more so, I guess, trying to appease more so than fixing the issue. Let me appease this over here. Let me appease that over here. Let me make you feel good about this right here. Make you feel good about that over there, and still continue the systemic issues to make you feel good, make you feel like things are happening, things are being, you know what I'm saying, are shifting. But really, I'm just saving my company. I'm really just saving my my bottom line. I don't really care about your issues because if I really did, all the backing I have, the proceeds that Aunt Jemima has probably made throughout the years is put it towards a cause.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the money that the Washington football team has made, put it to a cause. Don't just change your name. What else you doing about it?
But does it really make you feel good? Like, in reality? Like, think about it. Like, I didn't even know Uncle Ben was gone. I didn't know Uncle Ben was gone. I didn't know Aunt Jemima was off the container. So it had no effect on my life. So, like, when it's time to go get, how do I find Aunt Jemima syrup now when I go? Because that's what I buy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not gonna find her.
No, for real. And that's what happened to me. Like, it was time to, like, hey, I need some syrup. I need some pancakes. I'm going. I overlook it. I'm looking for a specific thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking up and down. Like,
where's the old lady?
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the first thing that pops out. Let you know you're on the right aisle. You got the right idea. Let me go ahead and grab this. All right. Keep it moving. I had to pause for a second. I'm like, where's what? You know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to go pick up some Bisquick instead of the other company.
Right. Yeah.
So I think the overreaction is really going to be more so at a loss in the game, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, with your with your stick, what we looking like?
Not much change at all. And of course, I'm still in the first third, and I don't want to be premature by saying this, but as of now, let's say as of now, it's not a lot for those who like their palate to be like really tested and have some, have a lot going on. It's not a lot going on, but
okay,
it's a good morning cigar. As of now, it's a good morning cigar. Something that you wake up in the morning, not gonna hit you too hard, smooth, and you have your little cup of coffee on the go,
And that makes sense. And I was gonna ask you, when you do pick up a cigar, are you looking for something that's going to be more stable throughout the cigar, or are you looking for that ride? Are you looking for change and it's a transition?
If I'm looking to be more on a chill, relaxed day, then I want stable. If I'm looking, more stable. If I'm going out and I'm gonna be at a cigar lounge or something like that, then I want some transitions because that's how the night's gonna feel. As the alcohol starts kicking in, I'm gonna start taking that ride with it, and that's what I want. I want that experience, you know. Uh, so it's gonna really depend on that. If I'm at the house, uh,
Give me something
just having
mellow,
a good
something
time.
mellow, something smooth, something that's gonna be consistent.
Yeah, something mellow, consistent for me. What about yourself?
Oh man, I prefer a ride. I don't care what time it is.
Anytime of the day, give me a ride.
Give me some consistency. I'm not consistency. Give me some inconsistency. Give me something that's gonna start out smooth. Something's gonna pick up a little bit. Something's gonna die out. Let me get I guess where I'm getting at is let me get the most out of my cigar experience whenever I sit down to smoke a cigar. Every time.
Even if you only got 30 minutes.
Even if I got 30 minutes.
Okay.
You know, I want the most out of my time. I got 30 minutes to get to a cigar. I want everything you can give me in 30 minutes. That's why a lot of times, like, I'll shoot towards like one of the short sticks. You know, grab a short story or something like that, or a short Fuente, and you know, allow for a short cigar to give me that. You know, to where I'm not wasting cigar, or I have to. Because another pet peeve of mine is like if I do smoke a cigar and I have to sit it down, you know, I kind of lose that transition because I got to sit back, relight it. You know, after I go off and do something else and come back to it, and then you miss that transition, or you're picking up on the second, third, and it's like
I needed to start building.
So it's like let me get everything I can get in 30 minutes, even if I do only have 30 minutes. So then I'll go ahead and pick up a short. You know.
Well, I can understand that. Like more, I can understand that, man. Like, you know, like I say, for me, I say something more stable when I'm relaxed because of the same reason you say you want the ride with, and you'll go to a short story or something to that effect for it. Because for me, I know if I'm just kind of chilling and relaxing and ain't doing too much, it's a good chance I'm gonna get pulled away from this cigar, and I don't want to come back in the middle of my journey, or I might not come back. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like stable lets me not feel as bad that I got pulled away, and stable also allows me to come back in where I left off at. Kind of.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So hey, that's something to remember. Like, hey, you pick up a cigar, you know it's gonna be stable, and I know I only have a short time. Let me go ahead and go with this more stable one. So when I do pick up, at least I can pick up in the point where I know where I left off. I ain't got to be guessing. You know what I'm saying?
And what you said is probably even better. Just find you a short cigar and make it work. I don't buy them that often, so that's not my thought process. But what you're saying makes more sense in reality. You know, just get you a short cigar that can fulfill your normal cigar wants anyway.
You know, I think sometimes that's the happy medium. So I've been trying to create a habit of keeping some of those in the humidor as much as possible. You know, at least you know 4 or 5 in the stash, just in case. You know, somebody can grab real quick. And like I said, I want to be able to have my full experience. I don't want to be shorted on nothing.
So for this H up, man, let me give it this much credit. On the retro hill, it's a little bit of a almost like a citrusy-ness to it. Little citrusy, maybe a little peppery, but probably a little more. I guess it makes me think of like skin of an orange or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing.
Yeah, you're always gonna get a little peppery on it on a retro hill.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever had a cigar while retro held and not felt a little, you know, got
a little pepper on it.
Yeah, pepper note. Yeah. I think for some reason that's just kind of like what pulls it out, even if it's real low, real mellow in the cigar, in the tobacco. Yeah. Sounds like a win so far to me. So looking at Burns, talk about Burns last week.
Where you at?
I think I'm doing pretty good. Nice draw. Almost even. almost even.
I'm not perfect like I've been at times, but I'm decent. Could be better. Um, hey, with that being said, you were talking about canceling stuff and banning stuff on social media. So on TikTok, TikTok has banned the milk crate challenge. And for those that don't know what the milk crate challenge is people have been taking crates of milk crates, and just stacking them up as high as they could and having like the ghetto Olympics where they just uh, climbing all the way up, man. It looks like they all the way can be up as high as 10 feet. And they're building it like a pyramid and just kind of walking it up and down. And maybe 10 feet's an exaggeration, but probably at least 7 feet, realistic. And just walking up and down if you can make it. But people are really messing themselves up on it, man. Ain't nobody making it across.
I've seen it, which for the life of me, I don't understand how somebody can sit back and watch and say, let me try that.
Yeah.
That is not one of those things that makes me want to say, after I see how it ends, it says, hey, let me try it. Let me get a crack at that.
Yeah, I look at crack the same way.
Why, but yeah, you said people try.
Why do you see the outcome of that and you say, let me get a piece of that? But yeah, that's what people are doing with the milk crate challenge, and TikTok canceled that. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at the council on that. Well, they banned it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, safety reasons though, because like if you think, especially if I'm TikTok, I have to feel a certain type of responsibility, especially when I know what probably 90% of it
is where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's being posted on your platform 90% of the time.
Right.
If not more. So it's like, okay, if I don't allow it, those people who use TikTok heavy, because you do have those people who don't use any other platform, they're not going to Snapchat, they're going to TikTok, they're not going to IG it, put on Instagram, they're going to, go to TikTok. So just out of the responsible level, and when I actually kind of commend TikTok for that, understand your audience, understand, for one, I got to protect my users.
Right.
If all my users end up in the house, who's coming to my page? Who's coming to my app?
Right. They I'm not mad at it. They by doing that, they said we don't support that. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I'm not mad at it, man. Like, because people are hurting themselves doing it, man. I don't know if anything's become fatal at this point. I heard some girl got shot at the milk crate Olympics at somewhere. It was like some kind of drive-by, and she got popped. And I don't know if she made it or not.
So, and then, I mean, that in my opinion, that's smart business too, because people got sued for less.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People have gotten sued for less. That you look at it and say, how in the world did you win that lawsuit? You know what I'm saying? I burnt my hand off this McDonald's coffee cup because it was hot. But you get ordering coffee, you know it's going to be hot. But there was no warning on the cup that said this coffee is hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you win your lawsuit against somebody like that. And it's like, if you spill this on yourself, you're going to get burnt. You know what I'm saying? Right. But they were awarded in that case. I can't remember how many years ago that was. That was a long time ago. But looking at that, people got sued for less. Like, say some kid goes up, hurts themselves fatally, whatever, or paralyzes themselves, and the parent like, TikTok, I blame you for this. That's an easy money grab if you ask me. And TikTok, like, hey, look, let me put a stop to this. Hey, we're against it. We got whatever regulation, we got whatever disclaimer. Yeah. We don't support it.
Yeah, we find I got to cover my video down, whatever. Yeah, because self-accountability is as a society, man, this is my opinion. And as a society, we're moving away from self-accountability. It's a lot of making it okay to blame others for things. You know what I'm saying?
That's a real point. That's a real point.
And TikTok is like, if you're gonna be that way, we're gonna do our part to make sure that you can't blame us for it. Like the example of the coffee, as obvious as that is, somebody can win a lawsuit for that if McDonald's doesn't cover themselves by saying, hey, this container is hot, It's obvious. Self-accountability should let you know it's hot. I bought coffee. I didn't buy iced coffee. I bought hot coffee. Don't go put your mouth on it the moment they hand it to you. But, we're in that world.
Yeah, you make a really good point about self-accountability. Like if we can put the blame on somebody else for whatever it is, whatever our shortcoming is, or whatever our fault is, we're gonna try to do that instead of saying, hey, look, this was my dumb fault. I did this.
Yeah.
We're looking at somebody else to blame and then being awarded for it. And then the more that we're being awarded for it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get more of it.
Yeah. We become a society of victims, and it's easy to become that when there's plausible deniability. You know what I'm saying? If I can come up with a logical reason why I can deny that I'm responsible for it, then I'm not responsible for it. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the way. That's not what you want in life. There are going to be certain times where yes, you are the victim, but it ain't every time. You know what I'm saying? And it's the majority of the times it's not you. It's your fault in most cases. A lot of cases. I'm not gonna say most, but a lot of cases. We contribute.
It's me. You digging deep to find out. Try to figure out a way that hey, it's not my. Hey, look, it's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I contribute the most to what happens in my life. Whether I realize it or not. I'm the person living it. I'm making the decisions, and it's a process that's eventually building to a culmination of my decisions at the end, and that's what happens.
Even if it's something that's out of our control, you gotta kind of go back and look and say, okay, what did I do to even put myself in this position to be in a situation where it's out of my control?
Mm-hmm.
As unfair as it might sound sometimes, especially in a situation where it's not your control, it's your life to live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somehow, but like I said, going back, I applaud TikTok for that. You know what I'm saying? I saw the challenge. I'm like, yo, these people violent. Like this ain't it for me.
Right.
This ain't
didn't look attractive. I tried to think to myself, if I was 18, would that look attractive? I don't think so. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so though. Like, were we doing stuff like that? We did some dumb stuff, but I don't think we was like climbing up stuff that was unstable. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like, we did some daredevil stuff, but not as an adult, not 18. Maybe I might have been like 12, and I saw a nice steep hill. Like, my bike. Let me see what this bike gonna do down this hill real quick.
Yeah, but these are adults doing this stuff. Not these 18 like preteens and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like even with a situation, like I'm riding on my bike or whatever, I come to this like nice little steep hill, moment impulse. Go for this crate. You got to see it. Say, I want to try that, and then step the crate up.
You have a lot of time to reconsider.
A lot of time, and then you step on one crate, you step on two crates, you step on three. At some points, like this probably ain't a good idea. Like you had way too many opportunities to say, you know what, let me jump off. This ain't gonna end well for me. Right. So with the age thing and being an adult doing it, plus the amount of steps that it takes to get to that point that you're gonna fall off and crack your neck. Yeah. Come on now, you had way too many warning signs, way too many stopping points.
That's true. That is true. And now the counter argument to it is, man, just let people have fun. What's your take on the counter argument? Because that's what else I've heard. Yeah, people just like, man, let people live, let people have fun, man. They doing what they want to
do. Yeah, let them have fun. I ain't got no problem with it. I'm gonna keep it simple like that. Hey, let people have fun. If that's what you feel like you want to do, go do it. But if I was a CEO of a company like TikTok, I'm gonna be like, look, I don't back it. I don't back it. You know, as a father, I wouldn't have my kids out there doing it.
Yeah.
But if, you know what I'm saying, some other kid up the street, I might say, look, y'all dumb. Like, get down from there. But if you're gonna do it, I can't govern what you do. Right. So if I walk away, you still do it. You still do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for people making dumb decisions and having fun as long as you ain't putting nobody else in harm's way.
Right. I'm in agreement. That's my stance on it. You go do what you want to do. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But if I was the owner of TikTok, I would ban it also. So I see it from the point of view of the CEO and the business and the company. And I think that is the correct decision for them. But
yeah. I'm not in the business of governing nobody. I'm not in the business of governing nobody. As long as it's not directly harming me, I'm not in the business of governing you. You know what I'm saying? So go have fun by all means. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. You get hurt. You bounce your face off the concrete.
It ends up on you. Like, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I wouldn't, if I was with somebody and I saw what they were about to do, that I wouldn't give them my word of advice. I would advise them, hey man, that don't look like a good idea. But ultimately, am I gonna go out my way to physically stop them? No, they got free will, man. They gotta do that on they gotta make their own decision. But I did my part. I said, hey, look, I don't know if you should
I did
do
my
that.
part.
That's
Yeah.
beyond that, you gotta live your
And
own individual life.
I have 911 on speed dial for you.
Yeah.
I got your back. I got your back.
Well, if I hang around to watch it, I probably wouldn't hang around to watch it, to be honest with you. I don't want to see that because I don't think it's going to turn out well for you. And I already told you I don't think it's going to turn out well.
So now that you mention that, so now if you're in a situation or in a position where you have authority and you can control what people do, like say you're a police officer or some kind of security or whatever, or some kind of lawmaker, would you step in? And will you control people's ability to make stupid decisions like that? Would you say, hey, like, if you're caught doing this, like, should it be some kind of legal ramification for it?
Me personally, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And like I say, once again, I'm a proponent of free will. You make your decisions. You know what I'm saying? So outside of seatbelts and whatnot, I'm not a believer in telling people what they, making laws to do that, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, now that you mentioned seatbelts, that's kind of in the same vein. You create seatbelt laws because you want people to protect themselves because for some reason we don't have the acumen to be able to be smart enough to protect ourselves. To say, I'm about to get in this car that's going to be going 80 miles an hour down the highway, let me put a seatbelt on so I don't go flying through the windshield if something happens.
But you have to have a license to use a vehicle, though. Just like there should be laws for guns and things like that, like for safety. You know what I'm saying? Because there's license for those. Because
there's no milk crate.
There's no milk crate license. There's nothing. You can't control people with stuff that they're free to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't believe that they should legislate anything that you're free to do. Like, yeah, like if there's there's no basketball law, so if I want to throw elbows on the court, like you can't put a law up against it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Bad boy Pistons, wasn't no laws back then.
Wasn't no laws, man. You know, somebody will disagree with my take, but that's my take. You know, like it's one thing if it's licensed, something that you have to get approval to do, and then we have laws and rules based around you doing that, and you went out your way to get permission to do that. That's one thing versus just everyday stuff. What I do in my backyard, like, you know, you can't legislate my safety in my house.
We've done some crazy things in our youth. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff that could have put us in the hospital.
Think about it. We would get in a swing and go as high as you could and jump right out of it as far as you could go. I wouldn't want a law against that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, is it smart? Will adult me say that was smart to do? Smart to do, but can't put a law up against it. I could miss that. If I did that today, my knees and ankles shattered. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Talk about it. Yeah, I guess you're right. You know, you gotta learn by trial and error. And at some point, you know, wisen up and say it's probably not a smart thing to do. Like you said, we did some crazy things. You know what I'm saying, in our youth, but honestly, I say nothing as dumb as that. If you ask me,
yeah, it's pretty dumb, man. It's pretty dumb, but you know, stuff like that catches like wildfire, man, because of social media, man. You can get around.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why I brought up, you know, I guess laws and regulating and being somebody who's in a position to do something about that, because you have that factor. Even though we were doing dumb stuff when we were, you know what I'm saying, kids, it was on social media.
Yeah, so stayed in your neighborhood.
Stayed in the neighborhood. You and your homeboy down the street. Y'all the only ones who knew what the dumb thing y'all did, or whoever might have been around. So it wasn't as popular, and everybody seeing it to say, "Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this too. Let me do this too. Let me try this." You know what I'm saying? An 8-year-old said, "Let me try it," and their parents ain't home to know they even doing it or seeing it. You know what I'm saying? To drum up these crazy ideas. when we did our dumb stuff back then, it was just us who knew about it. We wasn't spreading our, stupidity to other people, for like a better word.
Get this though. Think about it from this point of view. A lot of what we did was not unique to our areas, though. We think it was, but when you're a traveled person at this point in your life, and you deal with a lot of people from all over the world. Now, my wife is from California, and she did the same things as a kid that I did, and I don't know how we all knew to do it. Like, do you remember like the little three lines on top of each other, three lines beneath, and you turn it to like a dollar sign, and with it, yeah, you remember that, or everybody did it, or the little bubble letters that you would write,
or the little, you know what I'm saying?
The little thing that you would build, it would look like a little teepee, and you would just flip it in and out with your fingers, and then you fold one page out. I don't know what it's called. You fold one page out and have like a question and then an answer on the inside of another.
Everybody played paper football. You know what I'm saying?
How did we all know to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I asked her about stuff from my childhood, and she was doing it. And I'm from a small place where I'm from, and she's from California on the opposite end of the country. We did the same thing. No social media. And not all of us had cable or satellite to get it from TV.
Because I was like, I can't remember where I learned all that stuff from. I might have saw somebody else do it, and some of the stuff I thought I made up on my own. And then come to find out that somebody else was doing it too.
It couldn't have been that many new students coming and teaching stuff at everybody's school. You know what I'm saying? Just spreading information. Or it couldn't have been that many trips where the family went somewhere on summer vacation and you picked something up at the family reunion. I mean, I'm sure that's a part of it, but it had to be more to it than that.
That's a good question. It's like, how?
How was all the same stuff getting passed along to kids, man? We was all doing the same thing.
Yeah. Even you mentioned jumping off the swing. I already knew where you was going with it. I did it too. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't never been on a swing with you. You know what I'm saying? We did it though.
It's interesting, man. That's an interesting concept.
So, how much is social media takes it to another level, but it would have still happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it creates a firestorm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To make people rush to do something. Like, if you learn about something, it might have taken time for you to pick up on something, but it's just the firestorm of the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's creating everybody to do something at the same time, and probably more concentrated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the little stuff that you named was, you know what I'm saying, stuff that we all did and we all picked up on, but it was like no timetable on when we picked up on
it. Yeah, true. It was over the course of years before everybody got on board to it. Some kids was probably late to the party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not all in a week. We all doing the same thing across country.
We got 10 million people doing the exact same thing all in the same week.
Yeah.
That probably didn't happen. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Right. But interesting nonetheless.
You in the second, third yet? How's yours moving? Where you at? Because I'm not moving at all for me personally. So
out here, like I'm just about getting to the second, third. Got a relight. Let's see where we're gonna go with it now. Try not to ruin the integrity of the cigar on the relight.
My ash fell off at a point and hit me right on the finger. So I had a nice long one I was trying to be proud of.
Sometimes you gotta let them go.
Yeah, let it go.
I'm gonna say this about the Alec Bradley. Is it a top cigar? I can't say it is. Is it a good cigar? Is it a cigar I would revisit? Yeah. I would definitely pick this up again. But does it strike me as a top notch cigar that I have to absolutely have in my humidor? No. But would I have added to my humidor? I would. I think it's a good smoke that I would pick up from time to time and love to enjoy. But it is something like, man, I got to have it. This is that top notch 96, 97 rated cigar. Mm, mm, it wouldn't bump my favorites.
So with that being said, that is probably how you can fall off. You keep making those and promoting those in aficionado and all the big magazines, you know,
Yeah,
paying to be. And it sounds like we just taking a dump on Alec Bradley this episode. It's not the case, you know.
no, not at all. I still respect the name,
Yeah.
and probably from this point forward, I probably will make the effort to try to pick up more Alec Bradleys to try to find the ones I love, that I like that's really going to resonate with me. I probably would be more apt to look for them now. You know what I'm saying? Now that we mention it and now that we're talking about it, it's like, okay, have they really fallen off the wagon? Like, are they really in the background of the cigar culture now? Or are they still in the mix? Or are they top of the game, top notch? I don't know.
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting in the next few weeks. I'm probably gonna, pick up one from time to time. Maybe try another one to see if I can find one that really can put itself in my top 10 or so, or top 5. Gotta have in my humidor.
Right.
So I think we're gonna take an Alec Bradley walk.
All right, man. So we've been kind of dancing around some topics that maybe, to me it's not controversial, but to somebody it could be. We didn't touch on some stuff today. Let's jump into something else, man. We pushing the envelope. I'm gonna go ahead and push it all the way now. We're gonna piss some people off in the cigar world. We're gonna piss some cigar people off now. Cause I know cigar people we like our cigars, we like our alcohol, we like our cars. So let's get into some car talk, man. All right. All right, you sent me some videos today. You sent me a video today of a comparison of the Maybach of 2007 and the Maybach of 2021, I think it was. 2020?
Yeah. Well, I think the one I sent you was 2020.
2020. Okay. And I'm saying Maybach because that's what they say is how it's actually pronounced, but regular people know it is Maybach or Maybach. So anyway, in that video, they said that the Maybach could only be compared to a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. Now, I want to get to that point, but we're going to work our way to that in the conversation. Let's start here. Let's unpack it. BMW or Mercedes? Mercedes. See, and this is why I say we about to piss some people off here, because I'm sure there's some people that's going to be riding with Team BMW. Why BMW? Why BMW? Why not BMW? Why Mercedes?
Ask me, it comes down to what you prefer, and I think Mercedes more so than BMW bridges the world between luxury and sport. I think they do the mix very well, to where they bring the luxury life and the sport life and mash them together, combine them, and make a dynamic vehicle. BMW more so sport than luxury. So if you want to have that luxury feel, I don't particularly feel that you'll get that from BMW. You're going to get that sport feel. And for those, if you're like me, you want a little more luxury, and still have your sport too. And that's why the nod goes to Mercedes for me. I just think they do it at a higher level.
Now, I like the body of a BMW personally. I do like the body of a BMW. Not necessarily not their sports ones all the time, but some of the other ones. I like the body of it more. But the interior of a BMW cannot touch the interior of a Mercedes for me. Not even a little bit. It's shocking how much of a gap it is in between those two for me.
Well, I'll even go back to say this. BMW, historically for me, the bodies weren't all that attractive. They were really plain, if you ask me.
Yeah. I like that look though.
If you go back to like maybe 08 and further back, I think they've started doing better over the last 10 years or so. But historically, from what I remember and what's kind of kept me away from BMW, like the bodies were just plain, if you ask me. I don't think they did the lights very well, and then the side dressings of the vehicle all that great. Grill wise, I think they had decent grills. You know, it looks aggressive. It looks clean. But other than that, that's the only thing I think they have, in my opinion.
So how big of a divide is it between the two? Because they are always paired next to each other.
As far as body or what? Talking about overall?
Overall vehicle.
If Mercedes was a 10, BMW would be an 8.
An 8. Okay. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, I'm not trashing them. I'm just saying, it's, in my opinion, it's not where Mercedes is.
So in your opinion, if you got enough to afford a BMW, why not just buy a Mercedes?
Exactly.
That's your... Exactly. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that. All right, so now they said that in the video, like I said, you sent me, they said that if you have the Maybach, that's basically only can be compared to a Rolls Royce or a Bentley. Is that a fair assessment to you?
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah. Honestly, I would think that...
You're not a Bentley fan, though, are you?
I would rephrase it. Say what again?
You don't like Bentleys like that, though, do you?
No, I'm not big on Bentleys, but I would rephrase it. I would, instead of saying Maybach can only be compared to a Rolls Royce or Bentley, I would say only Bentley and Rolls Royce can be compared to a Maybach.
And why would you say that?
Phrase. It's just the ultimate vehicle, man. Like it's the ultimate vehicle, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had to have a staple of saying what the top-notch vehicle is, I think everything else is measuring up to that. You know, we're talking about the whole package. You're talking about luxury. You're talking about performance. You're talking about amenities. And I think everything else is living up to that expectation, what all of those are. You know, just the amenities. You can't beat the amenities, and everything else is racing to catch that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I would rephrase that and say everything else is measuring itself up to the Maybach.
Interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hadn't never really been too big into Bentleys myself either, but the more I look into them, I'm really starting to like them. I am, and that is as of 2021. That I hadn't even felt that way prior to that. I'm starting to like them a lot. Rolls Royces, I think they're competitive with the Maybach.
Yeah, I think so. If you ask me, I would say Bentley, Rolls Royce, and then Maybach.
Okay.
Bentley's have gotten better. Like the interior, where Bentley lost me, or where they lose me, is the interior. For the amount of money that you're paying, you need to get a whole lot more out of that interior. A whole lot more. You just, in my opinion, you just don't get enough.
They just don't meet standard for you. The interior of a Bentley.
And for clarification purposes, I can't afford either.
Yeah. Driving any of the three would probably change the conversation.
We just looking in.
Yeah. This from third party information.
Somebody's gonna be a Bentley owner saying like, man, you don't have a Bentley, so how can you even speak on my Bentley and my Bentley interior?
Right.
Get you one first, and then let's talk. But
yeah, this is casual conversation from videos and secondhand information and whatnot, man. Seeing them on the streets.
just from window shopping. Just basing it purely off of window shopping.
Okay. But I don't know, man. Rolls Royce's interior and the body or
no, I gave it to him. Yeah, I gave it to him.
They're top notch.
I think where I would separate the Rolls Royce and the Maybach is just purely based off amenities.
I like the body of a Rolls Royce better than the Maybach.
Yeah, I can lean that way sometimes. It depends. Yeah. Sometimes I can lean that way. Yeah. But I think with them marrying the S Class and the Maybach a little bit more gives the Maybach body more to me. Like it doesn't separate it from the S Class like it used to. But in my opinion, I like the way the S Class looked over there. You know what I'm saying? The traditional Maybach body before. So
right.
In my opinion, I just think the body's gotten better just based off them mirroring it more towards the S Class. To keep it in that same vein. So I think that's what kind of gives it a little bit of notch. Even though the Rolls Royce, like it stands out, you see it, you know what it is. Like there's no mistaking what that vehicle is. But no matter what angle you're seeing it from, whether it's pulling up on you in the back and you see that grill coming at you.
It looked like a bulldog coming down the street. You know exactly what's coming up on you.
Exactly what that is.
That Maybach got to get up on you before you figure it out.
Was that?
I said that Maybach got to get up on you before you realize what
before you figure it out. Yeah, exactly. But a Rolls Royce coming up on you, know exactly what that is. No mistake.
Especially if it's that SUV truck. You like, man, this thing coming up the street taller than anything else on the street right now. Like,
yeah, monster.
Straight monster, man. I got one over here near my neighborhood that rides by kind of regular. Not in my neighborhood because we don't live in the same neighborhood. But he's close by because I see him occasionally. Yeah, I see him occasionally. I guess he shops in our shopping plazas,
but he's up the street.
Yeah, he's somewhere up the street. It's amazing seeing that thing come up the street. It's like, man, move out his way.
All right, so tell me this. So since I disclosed what I prefer, you know what I'm saying, luxury over sport. Well, what's your ticker? Like, what do you lean more towards? Does sport grab you, or does luxury grab you?
Luxury grabs me. Luxury. I'm not a huge sports car guy, and you know that doesn't mean if the day comes I won't get one. But I'm not. I can leave this earth and not have one. I don't think I would.
You know what? Like, I don't think I would ever be pressed to have a too sporty car. Like, if a Lambo or something like that, I can live without it. A Ferrari, I can live without it. Even if I could afford two of them, I would live without. I can live without it.
I'm not gonna go as far as to say that, you know, life puts me in a position I won't have one, but I don't see it being my first thing to run out to go grab. For me personally, I'll go grab a luxury car twice, and then after a while, when I'm finally bored with luxury cars, I'll be like,
let me go get something with a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? A bit more speed to it.
Yeah, I missed that window in my younger years when I probably would have been more interested in it. And now that I'm getting a little older, I don't care.
I don't think I ever had that window.
You don't?
I don't think I ever had that window. I don't think I've ever desired. I don't think I ever had a feeling where I desired something crazy sporty. Like, that was never like my barometer to say that's what I really gotta have at some point in my life. I need to become successful to get that. Never been a thought.
I used to when I first moved to the Atlanta area in the early mid 2000s, I would see Young Jeezy around a lot, and he had that lime green Lamborghini, and I just kept seeing him, you know, at gas stations randomly. That time the window was there. The window was there.
It's because it was in your face, man. Like,
it was in my face, and that energy was there. That energy was there. I'm like, oh wow, that is in something else. But years later, this is 2006. You know what I'm talking about? Now, you know, it's like, I don't. 15 years later, I don't. The interest ain't there like it was once upon a time.
If given the opportunity, you know, I could drive one, rent one, or something like that, I'd do it. So I can say I had that feel. I pushed one before, you know.
Yeah, you got to push one now. That's a whole nother thing. Even if you don't do nothing but rent one on a wild trip to Miami, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got to have that experience at least. But just, you know what else? I think why I'm not as excited about it, because those are vehicles that you really got to push to fall in love with. I think you got to drive those to fall in love with them.
Fall in love with it,
because it's all exterior. It's all exterior. It's for all body as far as what's attractive about it. Interior wise, there's nothing to them vehicles. It's just really all about the power and the feel. And if you can't experience that,
once you hear it growl and you press the pedal and that thing just go, maybe you might get hit with that adrenaline and say, I gotta have this feeling.
Yeah. Then you want to buy one. For me, for a guy like me anyway, not for the person who's into sports cars. They can't relate to this at all. But
all right, so another question, since we're on this. American and German.
Come on, man. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. German, man. Come on, man. Don't make me say that, man. Come on, man. German. I said it.
Hey, we gonna get picked up in Germany now, man.
Yeah, man.
Love.
Germany, man. And what about yourself? As if it needs to be said. But go ahead. What about you?
Man, I love me some American cars. You know what I'm
Now
saying?
don't try to clean it up now. I don't want to hear you clean it up.
You know what I'm saying? My family's from Detroit. My grandfather works in a Ford Motor Company for years, retired Ford Motor Company. So my heart's with American cars, but German all day.
Yeah, man. My heart's with American cars too. That's why I didn't want to answer the question. But my mind is with them German cars, though, man. That's what I'm looking at. I'm like, ooh.
But look, don't sleep on Korean cars.
Give me an example of one that you feel like can be in this conversation.
But I ain't gonna say what can be in this conversation, but I'm just saying like just stepping into a notch to where we didn't have them before. I'd even say the brand Kia.
Yeah,
Kia's stepped up huge.
Yeah, Kia owns Hyundai, right?
I think it's the other way around. I don't know which way it goes. I think it's the other way around.
Yeah.
I think Hyundai owns Kia. It could be the other way.
I think
But
Kia's
between that,
company.
between Kia, the K9 Kia, and then I know you've seen them Genesis.
Yeah, which comes from Hyundai. Those the Genesis and that K9 you referring to, they Kias stepped up big time.
They are not sleepers.
Not at all.
Like if you ask me, they're tapping on Mercedes and BMW's door. Like, hey, we need to have a seat at the table.
See, I wouldn't put them there, but I think they're at the table with your Acuras and your Lexuses and things like that. I think they're ready to be in that conversation with them.
You think so?
Or do you think they're above those, like a Lexus or Acura?
I think over the last 2 years, I think they starting to set themselves apart from Acura and Lexus.
What about Audi?
I really think if you look at that Genesis, especially that SUV they got, they knocking on the door. They might not be in the house. They might not be sitting at the table yet, but they knocking at the door. They ringing the doorbell. Or they hitting them up and say, hey, we're on the way.
Would you put them above an Audi? I don't think so. And I say that based off of the fact that my wife has had an Audi and my brother-in-law had a Genesis. And when I get in the inside, I can see the difference. I've driven them both. I can feel the difference. Not to say that it's not nice, but I can just I was able to tell the difference.
I think we might be talking about two different Genesis. There's levels.
Not that it wasn't the big boy Genesis. So in fairness, it wasn't the big boy Genesis.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the top notch of both those brands.
Yeah.
The top of it, the cream of the crop. You know what I'm saying? The creme de la creme, or whatever, however you want to say it, of those brands are knocking at the door. I'm not talking about the lower level Genesis or
but his Genesis would have been the equivalent to her Audi as far as where they were at on the chain of Audi and Genesis. So
Audi got some big boys too. That's who want to sit at the table.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I think they're there. I think they're probably in that class with Audi, but like right at the point to where they want a piece of the conversation.
They're ready to move up.
And that's a lot to say, because if you go back 15 years ago, nobody would have thought they would be at that point to where they even be in the same sentence or the same paragraph. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's very true. And in reality, they still aren't in the same sentence to most people, because people don't look at a Sonata like a Hyundai. You know what I mean? With Kia, you have to respect it, because Kia's they didn't go under some other name. They still went under their name. But with Hyundai, they put it out like it wasn't a Hyundai. Yeah, it was very bold. They said we're gonna stand on our own.
I'm gonna stick with my badge. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it was a few times throughout the last few years, to where I feel like if they would have took the badge off and you didn't know the name,
yeah,
that it would get a lot more respect than it did. But it was
True.
just the name and the symbol. Even that's taking us back to the beginning of our conversation.
Right.
But they stuck with their guns and say, no, we're gonna keep our badge and this is our brand. But we're just gonna keep improving and make you respect us.
That emblem make a difference, though.
They would
right.
Took the badge off. Yeah, they would have took the badge off years ago and put another name on it, kind of like Hyundai does. And they kind of separate the Genesis and the Honda, like putting it in a different class, and they put the wings on it, and they make it look like an ad, like the Master wings.
Yeah.
Make you look at the car twice, like, hold on, is that? Oh, that's a Hyundai. That's a Genesis. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's where rebranding does actually win in that sense.
True. That's a good point, man. You got me thinking. I didn't really look at them as being on the cusp, but they kind of are on the cusp, man. They ready to have a breakthrough, big breakthrough. But I think as far as saying Korea and up there with the names of like America, the Americans, or Germany, you know what I'm saying? I think they're still. I don't think they brought enough to the table to have their country in the conversation as far as a vehicle producer.
They're still in the infancy of
what they're going to be.
Their manufacturing. You're talking about Germany's been doing this since, over the last 100 years. America's been doing this over the last 100 years. Japan's been doing a lot longer than Korea too.
Right.
And Japan's still waiting to have a seat at the table. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, Italy is behind Maserati, but you don't hear their conversation. They name come up as a country in the conversation.
So Maserati does get left out the conversation a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Maserati is like getting that Alec Bradley treatment in a sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's one of the names that's there, but like it just ain't getting that push like it should. But let me through the door. But I heard some people say that a lot of people look at it like old people cars, and that's why it don't get the respect. I love Maserati, so I never looked. I felt offended when they called it an old person car. Like what? But
yeah, it's been like one of my favorite brands.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Give me that Ghibli, give me that Quattro Port, that Levante, that SUV they got. Come on.
Yeah.
But
yeah, all of them sweet to me, but they just don't get that same level of respect.
They definitely get left out of the conversation a lot. You'll hear Audi before you hear Maserati a lot of times.
That's true. That is true. You will. Audi will come up before Maserati comes up, and I put Maserati closer to conversation of a Ferrari or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Me or a Porsche, but I don't hear it get. And not saying it's like they're flashy cars, but I'm just saying when you name luxury vehicles, I put it in that realm.
Put it in that realm. Yeah. And then just going off the pure look, if you ask me, I think they're nice looking cars.
Fantastic looking cars, man. Fantastic. What's your let's get into some final words on these cigars, man. For me, myself, my cigar, as far as what it's done for my palate, it has remained pretty much the same. It's got a couple little cocoa coffee type notes that kind of kicked in here on this second, third. And it inched its way into maybe a medium body, but it's on the lower end of it. Much really on the low end. Like it barely broke through the mouth into slightly medium. But has not changed much, still really smooth. All the same notes as earlier, except now the addition of a little cocoa coffee like vibe to it a little bit. Overall, let's do this from now on, Denzel. Let's offer the people a little bit of a rating on these cigars. Let's say 1 to 5. 1, your cigar sucks. 2, your cigar is below average. 3, your cigar is average. And 4, you got your cigar is a solid winner. And 5, we just gonna say your cigar is exquisite. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's top notch. That's a top notch level cigar at 5. This right here, I'm gonna go with about a 2.5 for this H. Upman Grupo de Maestro. I'm gonna say 2.5. I wanted to give it 3, but my gut wouldn't let me say 3, so I said 2.5. I wanted to say 3 really bad, but I couldn't say it. I couldn't bring myself to say it.
I understand that. I understand that. Since we went with halves, I'm gonna have to give mine 3.5 then. I just
Okay.
like pretty much the same thing like you said. It's on the cusp of being a really really good cigar, and like I said before, it's definitely not a cigar that I would look at, turn my nose up at, say never again. Definitely a cigar I would pick up, you know, if I was in the mood for it. But it's not a must have.
Right.
Something I would have, but not a must have. So we'll give it a 3.5.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, with that being said, we appreciate everybody that tuned in for the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. This is episode 5. All right. So we'll get with you guys on the next one. Appreciate y'all.